And welcome back to TVS Presents Sport Magazine on radio. I'm John Daly. So COVID could be ruining all sports. That means it's killing the careers of sports broadcasters and play-by-play folks. David Brunner is the owner and main agent of DB & Associates, a premier TV, radio, and sports talent agency. DB has been placing talent for 28 years. Before that, he was an Emmy award-winning reporter and news director for local stations and national networks. He has also been an agent and manager for professional athletes. He comes to us from central Pennsylvania. Now, to be transparent, DB represents me as well. And let's hope now that I'm on the top of his list, DB, now that you're on my show. Welcome.
This is John Daly, right? Okay.
Absolutely. You got it right. That's perfect, DB. Right. That's one of the great responses. Hey, did this week's COVID news from baseball just tank the season?
Boy, it sure looks like it. I mean, I was just thinking today, I mean, the Phillies have only played 3 games. I think the Marlins have played 3. Their whole season's in jeopardy. I think there's really nobody out there who really knows. I know that it certainly is hurting the other sports too. I just think it was a bad idea to even get things started. They're really having trouble.
You kind of read my commentary at the end of the show. So how bad is it out there for your sports guys and gals that you represent?
I feel really bad for them, especially for some of my play-by-play guys. They came on with me in January, hoping that we can get them gigs for all the sports of the season. But I really haven't done anything for them for almost 6-7 months because there's just been no sports. There's no openings. There's nothing to follow up on. Going a whole year without being on somebody's radar is going to be really hard for not only my clients but for everybody.
Yeah. Now, is that across the board, or is it just local TV news, or is it just national sports?
Yeah, I'm one of the very few agents who actually sends a weekly job list to my clients every week. And at the end of last week, end of last year and January, we were averaging between 110 and 120 TV radio-like jobs. Now, when the pandemic started the middle of February, at one point for the first 2 months of the pandemic, I was down to about 35, 40 jobs in radio, television. There was no sports jobs to be had. Now, in the last couple of weeks, we've gotten up to about 65 or 70, but it's still a lot less than the 110, 120 we were having toward the end of the year.
Yeah. This is TVS Presents Sport Magazine on radio. I'm John Daly. We're talking to talent agent David Brunner. His site is dbandassociates.com. DB, there seems to be a lot of juking and faking by sports media employers. You said they say they're hiring and then they don't. Explain what's behind that.
Well, I mean, they're always posting jobs. And when I go to follow up to find out what they're looking for, they tell me that they're posting the job and they want to hire somebody. But just over the past month, I can tell you that there was about 4 to 5 instances where I spoke to the news director and we talked about a client, and he made an offer. And the next day, I got a call from the same guy telling me, well, hey, I talked to corporate, and they're putting a 90-day hiring freeze on things, so I can't hire your person right now. It's like, well, geez, you need to get your communication together because we wasted a lot of time trying to get this person hired. So that's happening. Again, I think most people want to hire and get people back up to staff, but corporate doesn't know if they're going to have any kind of money in the third quarter and fourth quarter. So it's all up in the air.
Understandable. I see the ESPN's ratings have tanked. I guess they're down like 40% or so. Are you optimistic that sports and eventually sports broadcasting will be coming back?
Oh, yeah. People are dying for it, John. I mean, in fact, when they rerun old all-star games and old boxing matches and stuff, the ratings go through the roof. And online, people are looking for all kinds of content like that. So I am hopeful that it's going to get back to where it was, but the question is when. I do know that from what I understand, there's been some major conferences calling around looking for content, older type football games from years ago, because they don't really know if they're going to have a football season coming up in the fall. They're optimistic, but again, you have all that time to fill on the weekends. It's like I said, it's really up in the air. I don't think anybody really knows what's happening.
I can definitely confirm that, because Tom Ficara, who runs the TVS TV networks here, he has so many inquiries, like from the Big Ten Network and other sports college networks, that are asking him for content, and they were asking him about 3 months ago. So he kind of had an indication that was coming. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Talk about the fact you act as a coach for your clients. What are you giving? What are your suggestions to them during this? Because I'm sure a lot of people are curious as to how do you do this when there's no jobs like that out there?
Yeah, we've really been talking about it through Zooms and through one-on-ones the last couple months. The three things that we're really telling our folks is, first of all, we need to stay relevant. We need to be on people's radar. So the way to do that, one way, is to use social media. Social media is free. People are using it. So I'm telling my clients to post work that you've done. It doesn't have to be your latest work, because nobody's working, but post interviews that you've done in the past, post calls that you've done in the past, and keep it out there. You never know who's going to see it and listen to it, and also keeps your name out there. The other thing that's important is you need to make your own content. I have a lot of people who have started talk shows, and they started online chat, things like that. They probably would not have been doing it if they would be working, but that's a way, again, to stay relevant, to stay out there. Also, I'm telling my sports guys and some of my news people too, we got to start looking on the fringes of broadcasting. By that I mean jobs out there that may have our own job set, that have the communication skills that we have. I think that in the past everybody was kind of turned off. Well, that's not a TV job. That's not a broadcasting job. But I think now we kind of need to open our mind a little bit and check underneath the rocks and check every corner and say, hey, maybe it's time for me to look maybe on just a temporary basis, but maybe take something that's outside of that, where I can still use my experience and my skills to get a job.
Yeah, definitely survival is the key out there right now. Okay, before we go, you're one of the craziest storytellers in the business. Before we go, give me a funny one.
Oh boy, you're putting me on the spot, because we want to keep you back for next week. Well, a cute story that I like to tell is a guy. He takes his dog to the vet, and puts him up on the examining table, and he tells the vet, "Hey, my dog's not feeling well. Could you check him out?" And the vet checks him out, and he goes, "Sir, I don't know how to tell you this, but your dog has passed away." And the owner's like, No. He just has a cold. Check him again. I've had him for 15 years. He's good. Vet checks him, and he says, "Sir, I'm sorry. I don't know how to tell you this, but your dog has passed away." Guy says, No. I don't believe it. So the vet leaves. He comes back with a cat. And he puts the cat down on the examining table, and the cat walks around and, sniffs the dog's ears and walks between his legs and goes and sniffs his tail. And the dog just stays where it is, doesn't even move. So the vet says, "See, sir, I'm sorry, but your dog is dead." The owner says, "Well, okay, what do I owe you?" And the vet goes, $550. The guy goes, "What? $550 for what?" The vet says, "Well, $50 for the office visit and $500 for the CAT scan."
You definitely have some of the great and corniest stories in the history of television agents. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving me the time. I hope we can help some people out there.
Yeah, I hope so too. We've been talking to talent agent David Brunner of DB and Associates, a premier TV, radio, and sports talent agency. His site is dbandassociates.com. DB, thanks for joining us. And remember, I'm one of your clients, so go out there and get me a gig, will you?
Thank you, sir. I'll work on it right away.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to talk to another one of DB's clients, Amber Lynn Carroll, who has an amazing story. She is out of work, but she is doing some amazing things. Plus, she is married to one of the Baltimore Orioles. TVS Sport Magazine is back, by the way. Great stories and all that a sport magazine should be. Go to tvssportmagazine.com. It will soon be back as a monthly publication, as it was for more than 5 decades. That's tvssportmagazine.com. Got a question, opinion, or suggestion for the show? Then drop us a line at tvstvnetwork@gmail.com. And remember, this portion of the show is brought to you by the Myrtle Beach Golf Trail. Just go to myrtlebeachgolftrail.com. You've got more than 20 different golf courses there that you can pick, and come on down to the Carolinas and enjoy yourself. We will be right back with Amber Lynn Carroll.